Hello, welcome back to the podcast because we skipped a week. It was Justin's fault. This
No,
is the Marble Bros podcast with a guest once again. But first, I am your host, uh, Tyler, and then there's the other one,
me.
and then we have the same guest as last time, so he's no longer special.
Hello.
So, and that's Brett. I know we didn't say names.
That's
Um,
fine.
So, we're going to talk about some video games and maybe some non-video game stuff. I have some non-video game stuff to talk about. We'll get to that later. Brett, you're the guest. What
Okay.
over the last you were on the last episode, I believe, right? Episode 7? Yes, you
Yeah,
were.
yeah.
In the last 2 weeks, what you been doing / playing?
Uh Pokemon pretty exclusively. Not gonna lie. Last episode, I
Nerd.
think y'all made fun of me for playing Madden. I think Justin called me not a true gamer.
Yeah, can
I believe
confirm.
I believe we also made fun of you for drinking apple juice. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair. Um, this last couple weeks, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon raids. So, yeah.
perfect. That's you are the resident Pokemon expert. That is why we've invited you back.
Oh God.
Anything else? Anything outside of gaming?
Um, Not really. I mean, I don't know what you were going to talk about, but yesterday we played a role playing game.
Was I was going to mention this? Yes.
Okay. Which was fun, I think. I don't know what you guys thought. My storytelling probably could have been better, but here we are.
We got through it.
Yeah.
It was tolerable. I'm just joking. No, it was fun. We played Savage Worlds yesterday for the folks that are not listening because again, still nobody listens to this. But we played Savage Worlds yesterday and Brett DM'd or GM'd. Is it really a DM if you're not playing dungeons?
I guess not. I think everybody calls it DM because of dungeons, but we can call it GM too. They're
He,
interchangeable.
he did the big M. So interpret that however you want.
Yeah.
And we did that, and it was fun. And then we're gonna play actual dungeons in 2 weeks, and then we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do after that.
Yeah.
That was fun. Justin,
Hello.
what you been doing?
I've been playing more Valorant because I needed a big break from Overwatch, and I have like 700 hours on Overwatch, so something new. However, I'm kind of ass at Valorant, so I have been attempting to play competitive, and that has not been going well for my mental health, but it is what it is. I think I'll be a hard stuck silver for a long time. Other than that, my daily dose of Dead by Daylight, I've passed, I think 400 hours. Yeah,
Like, last time
427.
you were aspiring to pass 420. That was your.
I was, and I'm not 427.
I don't know if I'm proud of you or disappointed in you. It should have been 500, but that's fine. I think I've played maybe like 40 hours of that game, which, considering how sporadic I've actually played that game, it's been like maybe 5 hours a year. I don't know, because that math adds up since that game came out. And we played
Fair.
Sea of Thieves. We did that thing.
That's true. We played some Sea of Thieves. Takes me about 20 minutes to load into the game, so that's most of my playtime into it, but I did enjoy that.
Right, you're supposed to get in on this Sea of Thieves with us sometime soon.
Am I? Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Well, never
I'm
mind. I just retracted
no,
the invitation
no.
after that.
I'm here for it. Sea of Thieves is fun. I've played with you one time and it was a blast. I'm pretty sure Justin wanted to kill me.
I don't actually remember the first time. It's been a while.
I'm pretty sure I just kept throwing Justin's pet off of the ship.
You were both drunk and shooting my dog out of the
Yeah.
cannons.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Your cat kept getting in the way, so Justin and I played last night, and the cat would sit like right next to the
Yeah,
steering wheel.
I kept putting it right in front of you.
I kept trying to start, turning the ship, and all of a sudden I'm holding the cat, I eventually got sick of it and I shot it out of a cannon. I was rather annoyed with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sea of Thieves, it's a good game. I want to play more of it.
Fair.
I have played very little the last 2 weeks. I have played my weekly Overwatch. Only last week I played it on console instead of PC because I just was not in the mood to sit down and focus at a keyboard and mouse, and so I just casually played some controller. And then
Sweet.
I've been playing Halo every week because, in theory, I'm working on the Halo channel that I actually worked on once upon a time. I've been working on one video for like 2 weeks because I put like 2 hours a week into it. I've done nothing. So, but I played a lot of Halo because that's what I do. And actually, that's most of what I've been doing because I have not been playing video games. I have been playing a trading card game because I am a man and I'm living into my. I'm growing into the neckbeard status. It's perfectly fine. No, I have started playing Magic the Gathering. I'm a very addictive person, as in I get really addicted to whatever I get into. I also have hoarding tendencies, so what better way to go financially bankrupt and encourage my wife to divorce me than to spend all my money on trading cards? And so I have actually spent a lot of money on trading cards recently. So there was that. And we're going to talk about trading cards later too, because
Oh God.
since Justin didn't watch the Pokemon thing, he doesn't know what trading card stuff's going on.
Came out today.
I'm not gonna lie, I might have skipped over that part of the Pokemon Presents.
Well, I will talk about it because as the person that recently spent a lot of money and then went to local events for Magic the Gathering, I have played Pokemon in the past, the
Yeah.
digital version, not the real one, because I don't have any friends. Anything else from the last 2 weeks you guys wanted to mention before we move on?
Nope.
Can I shameless plug?
Sure.
Okay. Tyler's been bugging me for weeks to get my stream back up and going.
Yes.
It might start up here, maybe, if I feel like it tomorrow.
Well, I'm off tomorrow, so as long
Wow.
as you're not doing it at like 6 at night, I'm gonna.
Oh well, I won't
Gonna
get off
bother you.
work until like 6 at night. So
Well, you suck. I have a board game group I go to on Tuesdays, so
sorry. Maybe Wednesday.
I also have a group I go. I'm like my evenings are busy.
Unlucky.
You should stream at like 8 at night. I can watch it then.
I mean, I don't have to work at 5 in the morning anymore, so who knows? I might stream till midnight if my girlfriend would allow me.
All right, so Justin, you and I need to hate raid his
Yeah.
thing. We're just gonna say a bunch of derogatory terms to get Brett banned, and then
Yeah.
and then no more shameless plugs on this show.
Exactly.
Okay. Fine.
Stop trying to steal our one viewer. Actually, so selfish. As in
Would you-
Tyler, he is the one viewer.
Hey, I did
Stop trying to
watch.
steal
I
Tyler.
have watched a couple episodes, or not watched, but listened to a couple episodes of the podcast,
Proud of you.
including
yeah.
the one I was in.
We did have one viewer that watched or listened to our Near Automata review, and he was very angry at my ignorance. So he commented like 4
Wait,
times.
is it on YouTube?
Yep, he commented
Oh,
like 4
wait,
times,
wait.
and he was.
I want
So-
to see this. Wait.
So if that guy is still listening, congrats, you were our first commenter. So, and I apologize that I did not play through that game and understand the beauty of 9S. So, apologies. While Justin's looking that up, we're going to start to move on to the PlayStation State of Play because some of us did our homework.
Uh-huh.
Looking at Brett over there.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Justin, did you find the comment?
Yeah.
Any insights? Or just you found the comment?
No, I just found the comment. It's beautiful.
Okay.
I mean, keep that energy, I guess. Be upset with Tyler because he didn't play the full game, even though he was supposed to.
Justin, how's Spyro coming so far?
Yeah. So I put it in the PlayStation. That's how far I've gotten. Just about there.
Well,
So
on
it's
the bright
going
side,
really good.
those games are not very long. Like
That's what I've been milking because
you've given me like a long RPG. Spyro, like if you're 100%ing the first one takes like 4 to 6 hours, depending on how decent you are at video games and a little bit of knowledge. So maybe a little bit longer for you, but those games shouldn't take as long. But that is next week. We're gonna review Spyro, and then you have to pick a game from me for the month. But before we get to that, let's talk about the things we're supposed to talk about this week, like PlayStation and the PSVR 2. Justin, do you care at all about the PSVR 2?
I'm poor, so no, I'm okay. But I
Brett,
think it
what
looks
about? Oh, sorry.
Um, VR makes me dizzy, so I am not a huge fan.
For shame. For shame.
Okay.
I think it looks cool. I think buying basically a whole nother PS5, isn't it like $550? Isn't that how much the cost of it is, Justin?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so spending more than the PS5 for a PS5 accessory is a little intimidating. There's just there were 5 games at the very beginning of the state of play. They looked all right. I thought the first one, Foglands, looked cool. Synapse was like Control, but met with Super Hot. There was like an emotional one that was called Before Your Eyes. There was a couple of them. They all looked fine, but I don't think most of us have any interest. Justin and I have VR headsets, and we've played very little.
I've played more than you.
Mine is still in the box, and I got it for Christmas 2021. So
Yeah.
there's that. So moving on to what I actually view as the best trailer of the entire show. Justin, what did you think of the Destiny 2 Lightfall?
I'm not a big Destiny person. I played Destiny 2 before, like when it was still early and it wasn't free, early release. So I have not played much of the expansions and the DLCs, but I thought it looked very cool for fans of the game. I couldn't understand what was happening because last time I played it, I think was when What's His Nuts died, the one that everyone liked.
Cade?
Yep.
Yep.
Cade died. Everyone got sad. I was sad because I didn't buy the DLC, and that's when I stopped playing my Destiny phase.
Yeah, I think you've played Destiny more recently than I have. However, I just thought that trailer was absolutely amazing. Like the I don't know. I intentionally I watched the show and then I rewatched that trailer like twice because the music was great. It just seemed like Destiny actually had a story. And I know Destiny does have a story, and Destiny fans really like that, but you have to get through 1,400 raids to get to some of the story. So I have not played a lot. Brett, do you have any Destiny experience?
Um, my Destiny experience entails maybe 2 hours on the PlayStation 4 when it was a free download or whatever. I've never played Destiny. Not really interested in it. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, so we are
Fake gamer.
Yeah,
30 minutes into this podcast. And
Sorry
Brett has
to
had
any
nothing
Destiny
to
fans
contribute.
that we
So I'm
just
just joking.
kind of shat on your
nothing.
favorite game.
I'm just joking.
Wow.
Next game was Chia, which was this like Breath of the Wild Moana exploration game. It looked okay. Uh, I don't know. It was a day one PlayStation Plus. If you're a subscriber, download. It was okay. There was a weird abstract puzzle game called Humanity. I don't know. It was weird. I'm kind of flying through a couple of these just because I don't think I don't think any of us have much to say on these. Stop me if you do, Justin. What about Goodbye Volcano High? the Dragon High School Band
Yeah.
End of the World one? Did you?
There's a lot going on, so I still have no clue what's happening in that game.
I think it's a rhythm game.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, but I think the main focus is the story, and I cannot tell what's happening. I see like talking animals, and there's like people talking about the end of the world, and it's very morbid and also kind of strange as to why there's dragon people in a band while the end of the world is happening. I have no clue what's happening.
It's fair.
It could be a
Yeah,
phenomenal game, but
I feel like
I
they've been
wouldn't know
showing this
because
game off for like 2 years, and I've just never understood what is going on. It's probably going to be good, just not my cup of tea. Then they had okay. I think it's Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections, and I think there's
yeah,
probably 3 words in that title that I missed. Justin, you're the fan. You're the anime person here. What thoughts?
um, I did play some of these games. They're pretty fun. Anime games most of the time kind of suck, but these games are known for being decent. Probably one of the few good anime games. They're one of the, I don't know how to put it, like the 3D fighters similar to Pokken Tournament, where it'll phase back and forth between like the 2D to the main 3D.
Okay.
I don't know, they're very well polished for anime games. A lot of anime games, like the newest Naruto game was Naruto de Boruto, and I'm not trying to, talk crap on another game here, but I'm gonna talk crap on another game here. That game was not good. A lot of the Naruto games have never been very well done, but these games they get a lot of fans in, and I'm hoping that this one. I'm not a big Naruto person anymore. That was more of my junior high anime phase, but I'm hoping this gets some more people in because I do have a soft spot for these games. I played the first three on the Switch, and I think I played the fourth one on my Xbox when I still, use that.
See,
So yeah,
I have nothing to contribute to that.
yeah. That I assume not. I liked your pronunciation of Naruto, and it
I don't
was
know.
it's beautiful.
All right, moving on. We have Baldur's Gate 3 is a set in the D&D universe. It is an old school RPG, kind of the sequel, long awaited, like 20 years later. I've never played the originals. I also don't really play a lot of old school RPGs. It looked interesting. I would definitely try it out. You got anything on that one?
Is this the Divinity? Like, are these made by the same people that made Divinity?
I don't know who made it off the top of my head, actually. I'm not
That's what it
sure.
looks like, but I don't know for sure. I've never played Divinity. I've seen gameplay. A lot of my friends play it, but I don't know. I'm kind of interested. I just feel like it's going to be one of those games that has a lot to learn all at once, like D&D. So, but I don't know. I'd try to get into it. Fail, but I'd try.
Okay. Well, what about Wayfinder? Did you see this one?
Um,
It looked like Fortnite meets Destiny
oh,
meets fantasy class-based game.
yeah. I thought this was actually Dauntless when I first saw it, but I don't know. I wasn't amazed by it. It looks kind of simple. It's got like a cartoonish style, but I don't know. It could be good. I think playing it with friends would probably make it a lot more interesting. It's not something I'd play alone, but I don't know. If you're bored and you got, a group of four or something, I'd go in and play it maybe. I can't judge it too much because I don't know how much they've shown off, but all I've seen was in the state of play.
I don't know. Brett, do you know anything about this game?
Sorry, didn't realize I was muted. No, I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie. I
Right.
have not seen anything.
We are all on the same page there. All right. There are three last games that showed up in the state of play that I know Justin and I are at least interested in. The next one was Street Fighter 6. They showed off three new characters. There was Zangief, Lily, and apparently the internet's favorite, Cammy. Justin, are you excited for this game? We played 5 a bit.
Yeah, I wasn't good at it. I'm not good at most fighting games. And when I played Street Fighter 5, I was just confused as to why there was like a half naked chick beating me up for
And they're
10 minutes.
and like a third of the characters are half naked chicks.
Yeah, so I was a little confused. If I got into it, I might get better, but I've never been a huge fighting game person. However, I know Zangief, and the new character looks kind of fun. Lily, I think.
Mhm.
She looked cool. I've seen some people talking about Cammy getting a makeover. I haven't. I don't know. She looked weird to me. What did you think?
They redid her design a little bit. I don't know. I'm not as familiar. Like I played 20 hours or so of the Street Fighter 5, 2025. I never had like a main or anything like that. I think I've played maybe 5 hours total of the previous games before that because I never even tried Street Fighter until like 2019. However, I think they managed to tone Cammy down in terms of her like green up the
Yeah, her like
cheeks leotard. Like
they got rid of her like fishtail hairs, like,
however,
and her
she was still
hat.
very sexualized, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
There was a pose where she was like stretching, and I'm like, what is happening?
Oh yeah.
Why is this what
Jeez.
you're showing? Like, it was interesting. I'm excited for the game. The closer it gets, the more I'm excited. I like fighting games, and I've listened to one of the popular people in that community is his name's Maximilian Dude. This is the channel and everything. Uh, he always talks about like it's great to get into a fighting game at launch, and of course, there hasn't really been a main fighting game that I've had the opportunity to jump into at launch. I've always either missed it or started getting into fighting games after most of them had come out. However, this year, apparently, we're getting Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, and Mortal Kombat 12. So plenty of options. They didn't really show much else besides the new characters. We already knew the release date. So moving on. I can't speak to this. Justin, you recently played some of these games. Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Yes, I'm quite excited for this. I'm a little nervous too. I I haven't played Resident Evil 4. I played it on VR, which is very different from the normal game. But I recently did play Resident Evil 2, the remake, and I thought that was phenomenal. I played it because I play a lot of Dead by Daylight, and I want to know who these characters are because I see them failing my gens. And I don't know. I thought Resident Evil 2 was very good, took me by surprise, and then that made me try Resident Evil 3 remake. That also took me by surprise as how much I hated that game. I very much did not like the third one. It was a very different game. It felt like it was less of a survival horror game and it turned into an action game. And apparently that's Resident Evil 3 is kind of where they started leaving the, horror genre and going more into weird campy action. So I'm hoping they kind of stick more with the horror theme for the remake. I know he has like a weird like flip kick that he does on enemies, but I don't know. I'm hoping it follows more into the Resident Evil 2 kind of thing, and less of a weird campy. It's like the movies almost, where there's just absurd moments that make no sense.
I don't know, because I know a lot of people really like some of the campiness about the original Resident Evil 4.
Mm.
Like they think it struck a balance of like you have the flip kicks and the suplexes and whatnot, and then you have the horror elements.
I'm not trying to
I
talk trash on Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is like monumental when it comes to games. When you talk about this game, people start losing their mind. This people love this game, so that's why I'm hoping it comes out good, so it people don't just have bad memories from what they remember.
yeah, I can't speak to much of it. I've not really played. I played like the first third of Resident Evil 2. And that's about it. Resident Evil 2.
I
What do you
really
think?
hope they keep Ashley Graham being really annoying and screaming Leon every 5 minutes. I'm excited to see Ada. I think it looks good. I don't even know if you know who Ada is, but
I know of the character.
I am
Well,
excited.
let's get to the last, because we also have the Pokemon Presents to talk about. Let's get to the last game, arguably the big one, although ironically not an exclusive. Actually, I don't think much anything they showed at all is exclusive. In this entire state of play. But Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League is coming out this year finally. I don't know how I feel about it. I really like Rocksteady as a developer, and I think there's a couple praises I have, but I don't know. I'm gonna lead this one. So it's 5 years since the game takes place 5 years after Arkham Knight, which means like Batman survived. Like it is in universe. Uh, Besides the most recent thing where they revealed Kevin Conroy's Batman, they really just keep showing off the Flash. And even in the reveal for the Batman, half the trailer was featuring the Flash when he was like incapacitated.
Mm.
Um, and then they showed gameplay and all these super villains like Harley Quinn and Deathstroke and everybody were flying around like Spider-Man.
Deadshot.
Yeah, sorry, Deadshot. Uh, they were all like flying around like Spider-Man, and I was like, "What is going on? Why is Harley Quinn like web swinging off of a drone?" Um, I guess Deadshot was more of like an Iron Man-esque thing, but it just looked very not what I imagined for some of these characters.
Mm.
And then it's also I quickly realized it is the superhero game, the third-person shooter, because everybody was just third-person shooting with all these different guns, and they were even talking about that later in the episode or later in the thing where it was like, all right, you have submachine guns and assault rifles and pistols and miniguns. And I was like, okay, because that's what Harley Quinn is known for. Like, and uh, King Shark. Or what is the shark
Mm.
dude? I'm drawing
King
a
Shark.
blank now. Is it King Shark? I got it right.
Yeah.
Yes, because they're known for their use of assault rifles and miniguns and pistols and constantly. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this game. What did you think?
Uh, the gameplay, I kind of got scared by. It seemed like it'd get repetitive if I played it for too long because they kind of showed, like you said, the third person shooter. However, I thought that was also really interesting because if this is set in the Arkham verse or Arkham, whatever the hell,
Mm-hmm.
same universe as Arkham Knight and all the Arkham games, I kind of like it if it's really different and weird because I wouldn't want them to make it have similar gameplay because I feel like that's Batman's thing. This is how he plays, how he is, how he fights. He's just kind of a human. In this game, you're playing as a talking shark, a crazy chick with a hammer, and a guy Australian with a boomerang. So I think it kind of fits the genre of playing three really or four strange villains that are just insane. I don't know if the gameplay will actually be like a really repetitive bullet hell like they showed off. I'm hoping not. And like you said about them showing off the Flash a lot, I'm hoping that's also just so they don't show off too much of the game. Something I did really like is that they showed off Wonder Woman, and I've seen a lot of people talking about this, but I really like what they did with Wonder Woman. I think she's like one of the few Justice League members that wasn't corrupted or something. I don't know much about the story,
That's what it looked
but
like.
and then she's like talking to the Flash. I don't know. I thought they did Wonder Woman really well in that game.
Yeah,
Even though
I
it's been like
think
a 2 second clip, I see Twitter freaking out about it. I think it looks really cool.
I thought she looked really good, and then I also thought I was curious because obviously this is like a sequel to the Arkham games. Wonder Woman is getting her own game. I was curious in the back of my mind, like, is that going to be related in any way to the Arkham universe? Since Wonder Woman's getting her own thing. So that'd be interesting to introduce her in this game and then give her her own game, either in the past or in the future.
Overall, I'm very excited about this game still. I'm a big DC person, as you know. So I think I'll be a little biased, even if the game does suck. I'll probably still love it. Don't
Yeah, like
remind
Gotham
me about
Knights.
Gotham Knights, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Did
but
do you
I am
think you're
excited.
actually going to kill all of the Justice League, or do you think there's going to be some you eventually defeat Brainiac and the Justice League lives?
But I don't know how they're gonna play that off. I hope you don't kill all the Justice League because then
Because then the Arkham
the
universe
Arkham
is
verse
done.
is kind of done, yeah.
Yeah.
And it ends with all the Justice League dying to the hands of people like Harley Quinn and Captain Boomerang, which I wouldn't really like.
Well, I'm gonna throw out a couple more things, and then I'll let you give some closing thoughts. Uh, Rocksteady and even the other studio who made Origins and Gotham Knights, they are really good at one thing in particular that I think above all else, which is making really, really detailed worlds that are really cool and fun to explore. Like even for Gotham Knights problems, like the world was really dense and had all kinds of cool stuff in it. So I think Metropolis looked really cool. I'm concerned about the loot grind, mainly again just because everything's gun focused. Uh, but one of the things that they talked about was weapon manufacturers, which makes sense when you have like LexCorp weapons, which may be good against Superman or something like that, or have kryptonite buffs or something. But did you hear what one of the weapon manufacturers was?
Isn't it like a Bane one?
There was a Bane one, which okay, like maybe I could see it. One of them was the GCPD. That is a weapon manufacturer, apparently.
I
I
mean, I think that's more of like skins and stuff for people that like that.
I don't know if it was like because they specifically listed, that was like it was LexCorp, GCPD, and something else. Friend, they talked about it, and I was like, what? Like, how is a police department a weapon man? No. So I'm kind of worried about that they're just going to be like, oh, this is the Bane style weapons, right? And it's just going to be like, oh, it has this type of buff, but it in universe doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm skeptical. I'm not as optimistic. I don't think. The last thing that I'm going to mention though is they have battle passes with future characters and future stories coming, which makes me worried that they're going to make this an incomplete story or leave a lot of loose ends and then just leave room to keep adding more, which in theory is okay. In practice, though, I feel like there's a lot of games that kind of miss the mark and leave an unsatisfying story and then try to fill it in later. And I'm concerned that that might happen here. Any other thoughts before we move on?
Um, I don't know. I think I was a little interested in the gun customization, but are you talking about like the battle pass? I really don't imagine this game being like a, I don't know. When I'm watching the gameplay, it just doesn't look like a live service game. So I thought that was a little funky, kind of weird, but I don't know. I'm hopeful.
Well, that was the state of play. Justin, what would you, if you had to grade that in the typical school system grade, what would you give it?
I would give it a B, just a B, because I didn't care too much for everything, mostly just because I've never played these things like Green Hell. Uh, Chia was new, but it kind of gets carried by Suicide Squad and the big name games like Street Fighter and Resident Evil
Fair.
4.
Yeah, I give it probably B minus. The biggest thing that was interesting to me is just the fact that they don't have, like, they own Bungie, but it's not an exclusive. And besides maybe one of the PSVR games, there was nothing that sold me that like, oh, there's all PlayStation stuff. Not that they need to, but I just thought it was interesting where it's like we still don't know if they have any big games coming out this year. Now was the time to announce some big games coming out this year, and we're kind of just left empty. Well, for the sake of time, we're going to move on because it is getting late already. We're going to talk about Pokemon because they had an event today that Justin didn't watch.
Yep.
So Now that Brett has been silent for the last 20 minutes listening to us ramble.
Not bad.
No, you're good. Brett, the Pokemon Championships are in Japan this year.
Oh, I'm so excited. We going to
That does,
Japan?
okay. That I don't know if I can afford that.
Yeah, I don't know if I can either, but it's cool. I mean,
I think I probably could have. I don't know. They're probably equally expensive. Last year's was in London.
yeah.
Did you watch the London Championships?
I probably did, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember anything about it.
Alrighty then.
So, yeah, I did watch the Knoxville regionals that were going on this weekend, though. If you even knew those were going on,
I have no idea.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a regional event in Knoxville this weekend.
I've been trying to watch a little more esports this year. However, turn-based games like Pokemon have not really been my cup of tea for getting into them. But I'll probably try to watch at least some of the championships for the world.
That's fair. I can respect that.
Well, after that, they showed off what relates to what I've been doing, which is the Pokemon TCG Classic. They are like
Yes.
reprinting the original things in like a very complete, wholesome thing, is what it sounds like.
It seems
That-
cool. Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind getting that. It's probably going to be a pretty penny. I'm probably going to spend that pretty penny. But I don't. It sounds like the way they worded it, they want it to be a complete experience that encapsulates the beginning of the TCG that doesn't age. It's like that makes me think it's like a complete set of the first one, like a reprint or something. I don't know how they would do it.
Yeah.
Um, but regardless, that's right up my alley, especially with having played recently TCGs. So
Fair.
then they showed off. Well, they talked a lot about Pokemon Concierge, the new
Yes, I
Netflix
did see
show,
this. Yes.
and then they showed a side duck, and then a still image.
Uh-huh.
I don't know I don't know what's to
You know
think
what
of
that
that.
leads me to believe?
What is
In
that?
oh, what was the movie? It was Detective Pikachu, right? With Ryan Reynolds, and that Psyduck in that movie played a pretty big role. So I wonder if it's gonna link to Detective Pikachu somehow.
Maybe. I I listened to it and I was like, this sounds interesting. Obviously,
Yeah.
they're removing Ash, so I'll probably give this a shot because they killed my boy. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have thoughts on the show? Are you excited?
I mean, it's Pokemon. It's exciting. I don't know if it's gonna be much better or worse than any other Pokemon show. I mean, it looks good, but I don't know if I'm overly excited.
Well, how do you feel about Pokemon Unite?
I'm not gonna lie. I have played a little bit of Pokemon Unite. The changes are interesting. Zacian is obviously a Pokemon that I don't know if I like or dislike because in VGC he terrorized all of VGC during Sword and Shield. Like if you weren't using Zacian, like what were you doing? But like it's interesting. I don't know.
Hmm.
They keep adding legendary and mythical Pokemons to Unite, and I think that's interesting.
I think I played like 15 hours when Unite came out, and then I've not touched it since.
It's
Mainly
fair.
because it's just really difficult to get into MOBAs when you don't know anybody else that's playing a MOBA, and so I can only
Yeah.
play so long solo before I was like, all right, I get what this game's about, and I don't feel like playing it anymore. It was fun
That's
though. I didn't hate it.
yeah, no, I think it's a good spin on a MOBA. It's kind of different than other MOBAs, but also like it makes sense because Pokemon, you're not gonna be. I don't know. Pokemon tries to stand out. I feel like a little bit sometimes,
Yeah.
and they're not gonna just create a standard MOBA if they're gonna do a MOBA. So
I am glad that it's taken off. I'm glad that it's still around because I did enjoy it, and I was hoping it didn't die off in like a year.
yeah,
Sounds like it's still going. Other things that didn't die off in like a year are some of the mobile things. I'll be honest, I don't really pay attention to these whatsoever.
Yeah, no.
I've tried each of them, didn't care for them. There was Masters EX is getting like a 3.5 year thing with all the Sword and Shield people, and then Pokemon Cafe Remix is getting stuff. I guess I don't know. Thoughts on this at all?
No, the games for the phone. I mean, they're fun to play when you got nothing to do at work. Um, but I'm not gonna sit on the couch and play a phone game when I can literally pick my Switch off the dock and you know.
Yep, right there with you. All right. They're heavily advertising the Pokemon Sleep app. I I think it's cool for kids. I don't know how I feel about it as a person. Like,
Yeah,
um,
I'm probably not gonna use it.
it's like, oh, you can have Pokemon watch you sleep, and then you can gain Pokemon that sleep next to your Snorlax. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can get like wake up alarms with Pokemon, or you can get like you can get the Pokemon Go plus plus and have that
Uh-huh.
Pokemon like sing you a lullaby. And I'm like, I don't need Pikachu to sing me a lullaby to go to bed.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
I'm good. If I
Maybe
need
good.
if I need sound to go to sleep, I'm gonna turn on like 12-hour like relaxing music on YouTube or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Um Maybe it's good for like trying to instill good sleep habits in kids, because obviously Pokemon, as much as we are grown adults that are playing Pokemon, it is meant for kids. And maybe it's just trying to help them like recognize sleep patterns and develop a good sleep schedule. I assume it's with the best of intentions. I just
Yeah.
don't plan on partaking in those intentions.
Mhm. It's fair.
Well, the real meat of what everybody was interested in, that you're probably going to be able to speak to more than I am. There are new Pokemon raids coming with these two specialty Paradox Pokemon. It's getting
Yes.
Pokemon Go support, Pokemon Home support, and then two DLCs.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on all these things?
I'm excited. You know, obviously DLC brings more Pokemon to the game. Obviously, we have overall over 1,000 Pokemon, and they only put 400 in the base game. Which I mean, 400 is still a ton of Pokemon to catch to complete the decks and get the shiny charm and whatnot. Um, but from a competitive standpoint, I don't do a ton of competitive, but I still dabble in it. It's fun because it gives you a wider range of Pokemon that you can use. Um, Obviously, new legendaries are cool. Um, I am not a huge fan of the green one. I don't know if they announced names.
Talking about the one with the teal mask.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that one, but I really like the blue. The one with the part two of the DLC. Whatever that was.
I do not recall the name.
I don't think they announced the names. And I'm trying to search it now, but I'm only seeing the names of the Terra raid that's going on right now.
Well, I was gonna ask you, what do you think about? So they're calling these DLC, and you buy the pack or whatever, and includes both of these DLCs, one coming in fall, one coming in winter. Is there anything that goes through your mind about the last one for Sword and Shield? I believe they were specifically expansions, right? You got an expansion
Yes.
pass with two different expansions.
Right.
And even from the little bit I was trying to follow, the artwork implies that there's going to be a lot going on in these DLCs. But do you think there's rhyme or reason to believe this is going to be smaller than the expansions for Sword and Shield?
I don't know. I don't know if you can make a bigger DLC than what the Crown Tundra was. Because I feel like the Crown Tundra, like that whole storyline with finding all the legendaries and the area that it was, that could be its own standalone game, in my opinion. I mean, maybe not quite, but that was a huge expansion. I don't foresee them doing something like this. And I kind of hope they don't. Only because of the fact that we've gotten in the last year, we've gotten 3 Pokemon games. And I realized that COVID probably pushed Legends Arceus back, or Diamond and Pearl, the Diamond and Pearl remakes back. And that's the only reason we got 3. But you obviously saw when Scarlet and Violet came out with all the performance issues that came with it, that it wasn't 100% ready for release, but they had already announced a release date, and they're like, well, we gotta just push it then.
Mm.
So I don't know if I want a full-blown like DLC the size of what Sword and Shield had, purely from the fact that it's probably going to be rushed, in my opinion. I don't know. That's just
Yeah,
my 2 cents.
I'm curious if they may have scaled back their plans for DLC, recognizing that the efforts they would have put into a DLC is going into making the game, playable and
Right.
not as buggy and disastrous. That's all just a rumor, or my rumor, my thought process, but
Yeah. I would
regardless,
rather
I
have
mean, go ahead.
I'd rather have a higher quality DLC than just a boatload of content. I don't know. Give me
Sure.
new Pokemon to catch, give me some legendaries to catch, and I will be satisfied. That's pretty much where I stand.
I am also thrilled with the idea that we are not getting another new Pokemon game this year, because we've gotten at least one every single year for several years now,
Yeah.
and they've just needed a break. I mean, Pokemon, when it's only Game Freak really working on these games, they need more than just,
Right.
their one studio to produce all these things. And I think if they just do these DLC, I mean, even if they are smaller and they're just polishing the old game, Nintendo, they are working on the next console. Now, of course, that could be in a year from now. That could be in 4 years from now. Nobody knows. Nintendo is weird. But I would imagine that they're hopefully slowing down, put a DLC out, maybe even next year put another one, maybe a little bit bigger, and just develop the next game slowly and properly instead of just pumping out game after game after game.
Right.
Of course, that's the optimistic part of me. I actually,
Right.
with their content cycle, for everything else that depends on the main games to come out, I'm sure they'll find some way to do something.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I would love another like Legends game. Um, I don't know, do like a Johto remake, or like I don't know. Johto is just the one region that comes to mind for what would be cool to get a Legends remake.
It is one of the most popular of all time, and Johto is technically right next to Kanto. You could probably just
Right.
lump them together if you needed to.
Right. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. I'm kind of happy that they're not pushing another Pokemon game, but if like in 2 years from now, or 2 years from Scarlet and Violet, they release another Legends game, that could be cool.
Yeah, next year is fine.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're not doing one this year.
Yeah.
Well, again, the time continues to tick by, and we're gonna draft to keep things going.
All right.
So, for the audience, we are going to be drafting, in the spirit of Pokemon, we are going to be drafting the best Pokemon of all time, in our own opinions. And we gave Brett the option to pick where he wanted to go, and he is going first. And then, based on the last time we drafted, I'm ahead of Justin, so I will be going second. Justin is third. These are snake draft style, so Brett first, then me, then Justin, and then for the second round, Justin goes first, then me, then Brett, so on and so forth. We're going to do about 6 Pokemon each.
So I guess before we start, can I ask, are we drafting this based off of personal likeness? Like or are we drafting this based off of like competitive viability or best in a playthrough?
This
How
is
are we doing this?
personal likeness because
Okay.
truthfully, I don't think Justin and I know competitive viability or any of the other stuff, anyways.
No.
Okay.
And I think it is only fair that by rule, you can draft. Let's say, what's a Pokemon that I don't think anybody's going to draft? Let's see here. Let's say Brett decides to draft with his number 1 overall pick, the best Pokemon of all time, Rattata. In theory, and what the rules are going to say, as per me, nobody, including Brett, is allowed to draft Raticate.
Oh, so you
So-
can't like draft. So when you draft, you're drafting the whole line essentially.
Well, the way I'm imagining it, so I'm gonna say it this way, is you're not drafting the whole line, you're drafting your favorite of that line. But
Okay.
you can't draft more in that line and nobody else can draft that as well. So
Okay.
if you draft Bulbasaur, nobody's getting Venusaur. However, you also can't take Venusaur, so Bulba's the one.
Okay. I see.
In theory, if that's
I see. Okay.
Any other questions
Oh,
before we
boy.
begin, Justin?
Nope.
All right. What you got, Brett?
right.
What's the number 1 best Pokemon of all
Number
time?
1 best Pokemon of all time. Oh shoot. You know what? I'm gonna be this is probably pretty based, but I love Mewtwo.
Mewtwo number 1.
Mewtwo, I mean, Gen 1 legendary, obviously, one of the OGs. But I've always just had a fascination with Mewtwo and its story of breaking out of the lab. I don't know. I just think it's cool.
Well, you have passed on what is clearly, and probably by like general public opinion, like if you were to take everybody's poll of what's the best, the objectively correct answer is Charizard, of course.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna take Charizard though, because that's just, you know,
It is genuinely my favorite Pokemon of all time. It always has been. So
that's fair.
I'm sure that discussed Justin, but it's fine.
You took
I just,
Charizard?
Yeah.
Wow, that's like the white bread of Pokemon.
it really is. It really is. Everybody
Well,
loves
Justin-
Charizard.
Justin, what do you have that's so much better than?
So you said that like the evolutions don't is that the same for evolutions?
Yes.
So like if you take one, like the entire like array of evolutions
Oh,
gone.
I don't think
know what,
Eevee should count towards
I'm gonna
that.
just Eevee gets
'Cause-
dispersed.
Okay. Because those are like whole different Pokemon. So
They are. It's not like yeah.
Okay, well I'm just gonna say Eevee first of all, because I mean it's Eevee, it's adorable. And it turns into whatever the hell you want. So you can give it, I don't even know. I'm not a good Pokemon person anymore. That was more of a junior high thing, but you can make it better, I guess. I don't remember most of their names. Glaceon, Espeon, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, Umbreon, Leafeon, and Sylveon. Probably forgetting an Eon, but I think it's really cool that you can have like 8 different Pokemon from that one dog looking thing. So yeah.
Well, what's the second pick then?
Okay.
That you do have a good first pick. Everybody has to give you credit there.
I didn't want to take an evolution right after just taking Eevee, but I'm gonna take my favorite evolution. Jolteon.
It is a
That's
good pick.
It's Jolteon.
I actually don't know what my favorite evolution is, but that one's definitely a contender.
If you would have told me that it was just like you either pick Eevee and then you can't pick any of the others, I would have just said Jolteon, because I actually use Jolteon a lot on my team whenever I'm trying to win. I think Jolteon's actually a good Pokemon. Maybe that's wrong because I don't know how to play Pokemon, but it's a good electric type in my opinion.
It is. It is. Well, there are several good Pokemon of this type. not really type, I guess, of this category. I'm going to take what is actually my favorite legendary Pokemon, and that is Lugia, because Lugia is awesome. Lugia is the main Pokemon of the Pokemon 2000 movie, which is quite good, except for the first half of it. It had like early 3D like animation. I know I'm talking about the movie, not the Pokemon. Pokemon's also sweet. It's like, I don't. It is it water and ice, or is it water and flying, or is it ice and flying?
I don't think it's water. I think it's psychic.
Maybe just
Lugia?
like, I feel like okay. Part of it's because in like various lore thing, or not lore things. I don't know. It uses water and ice and psychic, and it flies, and there's all these things. I don't care what
Yeah.
type it is. It's awesome.
I'm
Lugia
looking it
is
up on Cerebi right now.
Lugia is also the main legendary for Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness on the GameCube, which I think is actually. I've only actually played through so many of the Pokemon games, like beginning to end, and actually completed them. XD Gale of Darkness is one of those. Shadow Lugia is awesome. The opening where it just picks up this freighter, fantastic. Lugia, best legendary. Not by a
Is-
wide margin, but it is my favorite.
It is psychic flying, by the way.
Psychic flying. Well, in my heart, it's also a water ice type because that's what it uses in other things.
It does have a lot of water moves.
Well, that was my second pick. Brett, you have two
Oh,
picks
am I
now.
up?
Yep.
All right. All right. Well, I am gonna go with my second pick, probably my favorite mythical Pokemon of all time. And I know I started with a legendary and a mythical. That makes me, whatever. But Victini is a wonderful Pokemon. It is cute. It is a fire type, one of the strongest types in the game. And it has the move V Create, which I am pretty sure. Actually, no, that's a lie. It is not. But it's a base 180 move. So it's just going to destroy everything it touches. It's fine.
To be honest, we could have drafted 50 Pokemon. Victini would not have been on my list.
Oh, really? Okay. I love Victini. It's cute. It's adorable. Yeah, that's what I got. And then I get another pick. So I think with my third, I will go with my favorite competitive Pokemon to use. And that actually is Sableye. I love using Sableye.
I know very little about Sableye, besides I know
That's-
what it is.
Probably because if you're doing a playthrough, you're never gonna pick Sableye because it kind of sucks. But it's a great support Pokemon. Moves like Quash. It has Fake Out. I can't remember if it has Trick Room. I think it does. Part of me is thinking Trick Room, but I could also be wrong because I don't ever use Trick Room on Sableye. But it's a great support Pokemon. It's got Prankster. All the things you want in a support.
Justin, any thoughts on Sableye?
Oh, I had to Google Sableye to remember what a Sableye looked like, but nope.
Nope. All right. Well then, I have the next pick, and I think we're going to discover some things about each of us as Pokemon players, or just fans in general, by the end of this. And I think what's going to be discovered about me is that I am a basic old man that clings to the glory days, because somehow in the third round, Squirtle is still available, and so I feel obligated to pick the best water starter.
Okay.
I mean, it's Squirtle. It's
Tyler is a
little,
Gen
like,
1 superiority
Yeah,
person.
yeah,
so
he is.
Lugia is Gen 2, thank you very much.
Yeah, but there's 9 gens, Tyler.
I can't judge because I
9.
kind of am too, but you're like hardcore. Like
I assumed
I don't
Squirtle
think
was going to go, and I was actually going to take Totodile at some point, but I'm not going to take both of them.
Totodile.
I
Oh,
like Totodile. I really like
okay.
Totodile, actually.
All right.
But I'm not going to do that now. I have Squirtle, so now that my basic pick is over, Justin, what you got? Two more picks.
I'm actually kind of forgetting there's a lot of Pokemon that I like, but since I think I'm the only person that hasn't chosen a legendary, I kind of want to fit in. I'm just gonna take Rayquaza.
That's a good pick.
I've never
Fair.
actually used Rayquaza, but I know people like him, so he looks cool too. I don't really care for some of the designs of these other legendaries, but I like Rayquaza purely because of style over stats. I don't really know much of his stats.
Fair.
And do I have another pick?
You do.
Yeah.
A fourth. Okay. I'm I'll join Tyler in his starters. I'm gonna say Bulbasaur, which Tyler's gonna hate on me for, but
I was not going
Bulbasaur
to
is
take
my
Bulbasaur.
favorite.
I think Bulbasaur is my least favorite of the bunch.
Yeah, I know
So-
that.
Oh, I
So
love Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur's great. He's
He
just
is the
wrong.
best.
Tyler's just incorrect as usual.
Yeah, fair.
Nope.
So yeah.
Well, I am up again, and this is probably going to be the only mythic Pokemon I take. It's probably the only one I can really think of as well. Besides, I guess there's another one I can think of. I think it was the same generation. I'm going to take Deoxys, the rival counterparts of Rayquaza there. Deoxys is like an alien with. I mean, in the movie, he had two halves. I don't know how he is in the game. I don't. I was not a cool kid that understood how to get mythical Pokemon back in the day. But Deoxys is sweet. It's like this alien thing with these like tentacles and psychic powers and all this other stuff. I don't really have much more to add. A lot of my Pokemon knowledge also comes from watching a lot of the early movies as a kid. So there was that.
Nostalgia factor that plays in.
Well, again, I'm the cynical old man who clings to the first three generations. I didn't even play Diamond and Pearl, so none of those Pokemon mean anything to me.
No.
Although I do like the starters from those. So there's that. Brett, you have two picks. What you got?
Oh, I do. Okay. I don't even know. There's so many great Pokemon. Ah. Well, I will probably this is gonna make me sound cringe, I feel like. But you know the Pokemon that carried me through Pokemon Violet? Wigglytuff. So
That's
I gotta pick
why.
Wigglytuff.
That's so strong. Wait.
I don't
It's a
know.
power move.
It literally it was my number one Pokemon. It was probably because we got the plush from GameStop because we went to GameStop for the Shiny Eternatus event and I got the plush. So then when Violet came out, I felt like I had to use Jigglypuff. And eventually obviously it evolved into Wigglytuff and because I just kept constantly using it, it became so over leveled that it just wiped everything out. So yeah, that's what I'm
Fair.
going with.
That's a great pick.
And then I get another one, don't I?
You do.
Oh shit. Sorry, can we swear on this podcast?
Justin does all the time.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Oh man. I am gonna go with Garchomp.
Garchomp.
Garchomp, yeah. I mean, he's just solid.
May or may not remember what he looks like. I'm going to look that up while you
He's
talk
like a
about
shark or something, I think.
Yeah, it's like a land
Oh, I
shark.
remember now. Yep.
Is yeah, you didn't play Gen 4, so you know you didn't have to deal with Cynthia's Garchomp.
I did not.
That might be one of the hardest Pokemon battles in a main game I've ever had to do. was against Cynthia and her Garchomp. And I think it got even harder in the Diamond and Pearl remakes because they made them like max EVs and IVs, and it was just a challenge.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've sent a picture in the Discord of what I'm going to forever imagine Garchomp as.
Oh god.
No, it's fair. It is probably would not have made my list again either. But
That's you sent that to the wrong Discord, Tyler.
Yeah,
Who did I
you
send
did
it
not
to?
send that to
You
me.
sent it to
Did I send it to
Kane.
Kane?
You sent it to Kane.
well, he's gonna get that, and he's not gonna know what's what is going on. So fine.
It's just,
All right.
All right. Let me
Wrong
see this.
Discord. Okay.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh, are you kidding me?
Okay, we're gonna move on.
If you're watching on YouTube, you have to put that in the YouTube.
That means I gotta actually
have
go
to-
through and edit.
You have to
Oh.
edit that in.
All right, if you're watching on YouTube, you can look at this picture that I found on Google. All right, what's I just can't wait for Kane to be like, what is going on? All right, focus, Tyler, focus. The next Pokemans that is the best. Don't mind me as I quickly look back and observe the old Pokemans. Okay, I'm gonna go with not the evolution because the evolution is more iconic to me. However, my non-starter or mythical or legendary first pick will be Growlithe
Oh,
because he's a little tiger dog thing. That's fire, and he
it is cute.
later grows into Arcanine, who's also awesome. But
All right.
Growlithe is like a little puppy. It's awesome.
All right. Here's the question though: Hisuian Growlithe or Gen 1 Growlithe?
No idea what the other one looks like, so Gen 1 Growlithe.
Okay. Did you not play Legends Arceus?
I downloaded it.
You bought it.
Oh, no.
I bought
Oh,
it.
No.
I
Spent
think
money on it.
I have it digitally and physically, so there's that.
Oh my
Oh
God.
no.
Actually, I think I accidentally purchased it twice physically, so I have two copies down there.
Oh no. All right.
I'm a fake gamer. It's fine.
Are these my last two picks?
You have two last picks. What you got?
I know this episode's already very long. Can we do an extra round? Even though I'll have to wait a third round, but
I
Can we
guess
do
we
the
can do
seventh?
that.
Thank you,
I
because
guess we can do
I'm gonna
that. Oh,
accidentally
yeah.
exclude one of my favorites. Okay, I'm gonna take this one really quick because I was afraid you were gonna take this sooner. Lucario. Tyler, I was very scared you were gonna snatch that from me. And I do like Lucario. He's also kind of basic, I'll admit, but he's my favorite fighting type.
I thought about him, and I don't know. I think Lucario at a time was really, really cool, but since then has become very overrated because I feel like he's become another Charizard where he's like all over the place and he's an iconic Pokemon. But the difference is Charizard is actually good.
Lucario's great. What do you mean?
No,
What is this blasphemy?
no, I liked his movie, Lucario and the Secret of Mew. I don't know if that's what it was called, but I know it was the Secret of Mew.
For my next pick, I'm gonna say Gengar. I really like
That is a good
Gengar.
pick.
He's
I forgot about
ghost
Gengar.
types are my favorite actually, because I think they're very original. The rest are like elements and like psychic and stuff like that. I think ghost is the most interesting. And he's big, fat, and purple, so I like him.
Me too.
You too, as in you're big, fat, and purple, or you like
I
him?
am.
Okay.
Don't mind me just trying to remember some Pokemon here. Hold on, I gotta find a name. I'll edit this out. It's fine. Well, We have a 7th round. I can find another one after this. I'm going to take what is my best friend's favorite Pokemon of all time, even though I prefer the 3rd evolution of this. It is Torchic. Because it's a little chicken thing with no hands.
You know, I
And
have
then
a
eventually-
Torchic plush.
What's that?
I have a Torchic plush sitting on my counter
Who-
or on my bookshelf behind me.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? No, Torchic is great. Blaziken is also awesome, but I chose Torchic out of. I don't know if it's respect. I don't know. It's my best friend's favorite, or one of them. So, Torchic it is. Brett, you have now 2 picks since we
Since we're
extended.
doing an extra round, okay, good.
Yep.
Because I have 2 more Pokemon that I really like, so that's good. The first one is gonna be Zoroark, and I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's fine. It's a great
I don't know what that
Pokemon.
is.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm googling, but I have no idea
No.
how you spell that.
Zoroark.
Oh wait, I've seen this. Never mind. I'm
Yeah.
basically a gamer. Yeah.
It got a new version in Legends Arceus, which if you actually played, you would know that.
What are you trying to say?
That you're a fake gamer.
That's how dare you?
Yeah. And then just because nobody else has taken a Pokemon from the newest game, I'm going to. I want you to know my last pick would probably be Tyranitar otherwise, but it's not. It's going to be Screamtail. It's the Paradox Pokemon that resembles Jigglypuff. Since I already picked Wigglytuff, I'm picking Screamtail.
Interesting.
This is the first I've heard of Screamtail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am in a similar boat.
Again, if you actually kept playing Pokemon after Gen 3,
Listen,
you would know.
I played X and Y. Oh, my God.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did know. Okay.
If I somebody text me in the morning to make sure I live to see tomorrow. My wife is staring at me through the door of the look of are you done yet? I need to go to bed. Her eyes just peeking through the door.
She lurks.
Where'd you go?
Is she ever gonna guest on this podcast? She can just
Is-
sit
is
next to you. Use the same mic.
Yeah, probably not. She doesn't play games. She plays Animal Crossing.
We can do an Animal Crossing episode one of these days.
Oh, we can get Aaron on that Animal Crossing episode.
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh, I can't believe I forgot. All right, I have the next pick. I can't believe I forgot my favorite. I would maybe even say more than the Squirtle. My favorite water, I guess it's also a dragon type now.
Oh my god,
Um,
I know.
It's Gyarados, of course.
God, you're so basic.
I am, but Gyarados is awesome. I never understood why Magikarp existed in the original game. But I was out of boredom and I was trying to meme on my friends because I did not know Gyarados existed. I was just memeing on friends and I was like, I'm gonna get this Magikarp to a stupid level. And all of a sudden it turned into this giant snake water dragon. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then I didn't play Gen 2 and didn't realize that there was also a red Gyarados thing that was a whole thing. And it's always been a thing. But you know what? I was super excited about it.
Have you
So-
seen the Gyarados and Legends Arceus? Of course you haven't, because you haven't
I
played
have
it.
not because I play real games.
But because it's a flying type, there's a Gyarados flying around in the overworld in Legends Arceus. And it's kind of cool. It kind of freaked me out the first time I saw it. I was kind of like, what the heck is this Gyarados just floating in the air? But no, that was meant to be there.
I imagine. I know this is probably not representative whatsoever, but I imagine, Justin, do you remember the 3 elemental snake things that are flying in the sky in Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
I just imagine that, but like just a giant Gyarados flying around.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, you have the final pick since you were. Oh,
Oh.
there's a monster staring at me again. All right, quickly,
Oh.
Justin, before I die.
Okay. My final pick. This is actually the reason I asked for this extra round because I forgot this is actually my favorite Pokemon. Mimikyu. It's a ghost type, and I think it's just my favorite because it's really dark. Technically, the story behind it is like if you look behind
Oh,
the skies, you just like die.
it's actually, yeah, it's incredibly dark.
And I don't know. I like how it's like a play on everyone when they think Pokemon. Non-gamers just like, oh, Pikachu, and it just makes you want to die. And then you pull up Mimikyu, and it's just like a really dark, twisted version of Pikachu looking thing because of its disguise. And I don't know. I like it. It's my favorite of all time. I don't know how good it is, but I used it on my team, even if it's trash.
It is a fan favorite. So, well, before I die, I will read off what everybody drafted. Brett, you have Mewtwo, Victini, Sableye, Wigglytuff, Garchomp, Zorak,
Zoroark, yeah.
Zorark, and Screamtail. I, the superior one, chose Charizard, Lugia, Squirtle, Deoxys, Growlithe, Torchic, and Gyarados. And Justin has Eevee, Jolteon, Rayquaza, or Rayquaza. I don't know how people say it. Bulbasaur, Lucario, Gengar, and Mimikyu. I think we can all agree that I have the best Pokemon. So,
No.
excuse me. So now that we have established this, any closing thoughts, comments, concerns, other things?
If we had any closing thoughts, your wife would probably kill us.
That's fair. Oh yeah, we should talk about this other thing for the next 45 minutes. And she's still not at the door. It's okay. I have a moment. This door has a lock. I could just lock the door. That's also an option.
Yeah, you should do that.
She hasn't come back yet. It's all right. I'm in the clear. Well, Brett, what's your Twitch so that the people can in the past listen to this and then go and watch your thing?
VODs or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know.
We'll see if I actually stream, but it is twitch.tv/MookieTV15. All one word.
Mookie TV 15.
Yes.
All one word.
Yes.
Alrighty then. Justin, do you have anything to plug?
You have one highlight from 2 years ago. That's
I
it.
do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
How long
I'm
has
looking
it
for
been
any
since I've
recent
streamed?
VODs. There's a time limit. I think you have like a month before the VODs just kind of disappear because
Yeah,
there's nothing here. So
yeah, I have a highlight of. Oh, I did a Nuzlocke in Sword and Shield, and it was the worst Nuzlocke probably ever streamed. So that's why I'm pretty sure that's the last time I streamed because I embarrassed myself so much. And I mean, there's nobody watching it, but I embarrassed myself so much that I just stopped streaming.
Well, we look forward to you streaming again, and I'm going to call it because I'm going to also have to go to bed at some point.
Okay.
So, thank you for listening or watching to see that one picture of a Garchomp. That is the greatest Garchomp. That's what Garchomp should have looked like. I cannot wait for Kane, friend of the show.
randomly message
Nobody
you
knows.
saying,
To
what
be
the
like,
hell?
why is there a Garchomp in the chat? So I had two chats next to each other. One was you two, and one was Justin and the other person. So, yep, it's fine. All right. Well, with that said, Gibby,